Deadlines to me.
Amen.
Well, Mr. Barlow, I appreciate you just taking the time out of your busy schedule to hang out with your local news for today. I was at the neighborhood committee meeting this morning, and one of the topics included the panhandling ordinance when we first initially talked about it.
Right,
and so
last year.
They made some amendments to it before they passed it. One of them including an age restriction where you have to be 18 and up to do public fundraising. So if you're a firefighter or a local basketball team that's raising money, that shouldn't be an issue. And then the other thing is that you need to have a permit to do public fundraising. So that way that won't be mixed up between someone who is asking for money on the corner and that person is a neighbor without a home versus, like I said, a local basketball team or firefighter. But it passed 6-1 in the neighborhood committee meeting. And so that means, the only person who voted no was Councilman Reggie Gaffney Jr. Everyone else voted yes. With that said, Councilman Ferraro said that after this it's going to go to the council and then it's up for the council to make a vote on it. But it's making moves right now, and I want to get where your mind is at, knowing that when we first covered it, it garnered some attention, and then it dwindled down a bit, and now it's back on our radar.
Right, and I think the key to what you just said is it's moving now. And listen, I'm looking at the city council's screen right now, and this bill was filed July 26, 2022. It started moving on August 1st through the council, and so it was pretty much being deferred from looks like September. It got approved by neighborhoods subcommittee October 3rd, and from October 4th until today it has been deferred. What's so different about now? Here's what's so different. The person who introduced it is running for mayor. He first introduced it, in my opinion, in my assessment, to get free publicity, which he did. He called a meeting at the city council. The press was there. He got free publicity. Then he uploaded it on his Facebook page and kept, uploading it and everything. And now that the candidates are running for mayor and the advertisements are coming out, and all of a sudden it's getting action. This is a political move. It's going to cost the city a lot of money if it passes. I'm going to make sure it costs the city a lot of money because, unfortunately, it's going to be some litigation behind it. I'm already talking to lawyers who have sued other cities in the state of Florida over ordinances like this and have prevailed, and the cities have paid attorney's fees. So if the city wants to pay money, fine. I've been trying to kill this bill since I found out about it. But if the city wants to pass it, fine. We'll just sue the city and in federal court and let the city pay attorney's fees. Now, what I don't get, because I haven't seen it yet, the amendments, but I want to make sure I understand what you said. Are you saying that the amendment for public solicitation is for charitable organizations and people who are trying to solicit for public campaigns?
Not
or
necessarily
charitable campaigns?
Not necessarily like campaigns, like a political campaign, but if I'm raising money for
Little League,
like for a Little League baseball team
Yeah.
or something like that, then if JSO would approach me like, hey, you got your permit? Yeah. And who's 18 and up around here? Oh, that's the chaperone. He's with us. We're doing this event over here.
Okay, so what they're doing now is they're requiring Little League teams to have a permit and be 18 years of age or older, the person in charge or whatever, and they can do it.
Right.
That's what they're doing now.
Right.
Okay, so they're still outlawing panhandling for homeless people, correct?
Essentially.
Right. Let me say this right here. One of the most benevolent bills I've ever seen came out of the city of Atlantic Beach, and I went down there and spoke. This is a copy of the bill that they passed last year, and it is very, very public friendly. While Jacksonville's bill requires the officers to, by the way, the police officers are going to be tied up with this because there's a lot of homeless people around. So they're going to be tied up with homeless people almost every block, okay? When they could be out doing some real investigation on some robberies or burglaries or whatever, they're going to be tied up if they choose to do it with this little ordinance here. But the city of Atlantic Beach ordinance, what they do is they give notice, and they also are required, the officers are required to try to find some temporary shelter downtown Jacksonville because they don't have any out there. But the city of Jacksonville's ordinance is totally different. They just give warnings, and then they give a citation that the person can get up to $100 fine, and after that they can go to jail for up to 10 days. And then the persons who give them money or help or food or assistance, they can be cited for up to $100 as well. So it's a very draconian bill. It is not benevolent. It is not moral. I think it's amoral or immoral in my opinion. But the one from Atlantic Beach, I even had to commend publicly the officials for it, because they are going out of their way to be benevolent towards homeless people. It's a night and day difference between these two bills. So I believe if the city of Jacksonville wants to do anything, it should try to copy off what Atlantic Beach did.
I like to do my interviews in intervals, so that way it's not a long clip. You're not talking too much. It's just easier for me when I go back and do the editing. How you feeling so far?
All is well.
Good. All right, and boom. So I'm rolling again. I did talk to Councilman Ferraro about this because he's a co-sponsor, and he's one of the people who have been vocal about it. And so I told him, I said, hey, let's be real. You know, this ordinance has met criticisms for people who are thinking it's a violation of their First Amendment right.
Mm-hmm.
He says it's not. He said it's not about that. It's about public safety. His issue is if someone's going to be at the red light, if a driver's going to be at the red light, and then John Doe is asking for money, you know, at the corner right here, then it's a safety issue. He says, hey, I'm not going to stop you from giving him money, and don't do it at the red light. How about you pull over instead, park your car, and then help that person out? But don't do it while there's incoming traffic or there's traffic that's about to be in motion. That's his beef. That's what he said to me today.
Yeah, well, that's a pretext. Listen, people have been soliciting, homeless people have been soliciting for years. No ordinance, okay? He's running for mayor. All of a sudden, after he files his paperwork to run for mayor, all of a sudden this is a big issue. Here's the reality of it. Number one, there are laws on the books that will take care of that. For instance, last year I would hear him say, you know, we've heard people pulling on car doors. Okay, well, that's assault. That's a misdemeanor. If you're going up somebody's car door at night or whatever, you're going to put them in fear of their safety. That's a simple assault, which carries up to 60 days in jail. Law on the books already for it. Here's a law on Florida statutes, obstruction of public streets and highways. This has been in existence, this one since 2007, I believe, Florida statute 316.2045, already on the books. So what he's doing is, this is a pretext for him to use homeless people as fodder for his cannon to try to get free publicity, which he's getting. This is a free publicity for him. All the other candidates, not all of them, but some of the other candidates are paying big money on the same stations for advertisements, attacking each other. But he is very, very strategic. I have to give it to him. He filed this bill way back in July. He let it sit. Why did he not file these amendments back in August, September, October, November, December? He waited strategically until the campaign is kicking up for him to get free publicity, which he's getting. But I'm going to help him get as much free publicity on the negative side as possible. All right?
Right. When people see this later on this afternoon, 5 and 6 o'clock, what should they be taking away from this? Because you have Ferraro saying it's a safety issue, and you have over here saying, no, this is a political stunt. This is a First Amendment violation. Right. What should the viewer be taking away from all this right here?
It's a combination of both. Now, like I told somebody, I did a radio show on JCT. I'm not going to argue with him on whether or not it's a safety issue. It is a safety issue, but it's also bold-faced hypocrisy because it's been a safety issue. This issue has been in existence for a long time. And the only reason these amendments that they put in there today came about was because people were opposing this because they want little leaguers to be able to solicit drivers for the money. Now watch this. Watch the hypocrisy of this. First of all, last year, and you have it probably on your station, he told people, which to me is a sin, he told people on camera to not give to homeless people. Now all of a sudden he's saying, well, give to them, but pull over the side of the road. That's not what's going to happen with the little leaguers, okay? From what I understand, they have a permit. They can stand right out there and solicit. Watch this, the firemen with the boots, okay? I brought this up before. Not only do they get on one corner, they can, sometimes they will invade 4 or 5 corners, okay? Or intersections. 2 firemen over here, 2 firemen over there, and they have their boots out. They're walking between the cars. That's a safety issue. So it is a safety issue, but it's bold-faced hypocrisy because you have an exemption for firemen to collect. Now watch this. The exemption really says for official business. So this is where the legality comes in the lawsuits. It's not official business for them to collect money with those boots. That's not official business. So when I see them collecting money in the boots and I see police officers passing by them with our video cameras for evidence in court, we're going to film all of that and show this is about hypocrisy. They're not going to cite an officer or fireman for having his boot out there, but that's not official business. But they're going to let them collect without a permit. But the little leaguers have to have a permit now that somebody complains. So, you know, there is a safety issue, but the politics has overwritten that. If he were really concerned about safety, he would have did this way before he became a candidate for mayor. So it is a combination of all of those things. It is politically driven. There is a safety issue, but he's using the safety issue as a pretext. So that's what I want the voters to understand when they see this clip. Right.
One thing that I asked Councilman Ferraro, I said, what are your constituents telling you? And he said that his constituents are telling him that this has become an issue. But you are close to the streets. What are our neighbors without a home? I mean, the ones that are literally from walking distance away from you. What are they telling you?
Well, let me say it like this. What they're telling me is that there are some people who will go out of their way to help them. They will get out of their cars. They will ask them questions. They will pray with them. They will give them food. They will give them gift cards, like I give them gift cards and everything else. Now, there are other people who feel uncomfortable with helping homeless people, but that's just their own individual constitution and everything else. So, but what I haven't heard is homeless people assaulting or attempting to batter people from whom they're trying to get help. That just doesn't happen. Now, it might happen in a case or two here or there where somebody is not necessarily in their right frame of mind, but the average homeless person who is out there with a sign, they're very respectful because they need to eat, and they understand that if they offend anybody, they can not only not get what they're looking for, but they can get shot because a lot of people are packing these days. So for the vast majority of homeless people that I deal with and that I know personally, they're very respectful to the people, and they tell me they get cussed out all the time. You know, some people are just as nice as pie, and other people, get away from my car. You know what I'm saying? So they understand to be as professional as they possibly can because they don't know what's going to come across, you know, out of that side window. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to keep nitpicking and whatnot, like, oh, this is what Councilman Ferraro said, this is what he said.
That's not nitpicking, so let's have it.
It's just, this is what he's saying, this is what this person is saying.
Right.
And I'm trying to draw that out for the viewers so they can make that own decision. Ferraro, excuse me, because you said something in the lines earlier just now about you know, some of our neighbors without a home, you know, they may be suffering from mental health issues.
Yes, sir.
And he did bring that up. He pretty much said something on the lines of, don't give money to people who are, you know, dealing with mental health issues or drug issues. Why would you fund that?
See, this is the problem with that. Now you're playing God. I don't know who has a mental issue or not. And when you do that, you don't have the capacity to discern whether or not that person has a mental issue. You don't have the capacity to discern whether or not that person is going to take that money and throw it away. Here's the reality of it. God has blessed all of us with some stewardship over something. We who have money and are well off, we blow thousands of dollars, thousands, on stupid stuff. You know, people buying 40 and 50 and $100 worth of liquor and all this other kind of stuff. That's foolishness, okay, for themselves. But they have the audacity, in my opinion, to look down on giving $5 to somebody who is starving. So what I'm saying is, I'm not going to play God like that. Yes, some of them probably take some of the things that I give to them and sell it for drugs. That's between them and God. And that's why I say it's sinful for anybody to advise anybody to not give. The Bible tells us to give. The Bible doesn't tell you to determine whether or not, try to determine whether or not a person is going to, you know, waste that, give it away, sell it, whatever. It just says, feed the hungry, clothe the naked, give water to the thirsty, and house the homeless. Invite them into your house. That's what it says. It doesn't say evaluate them. We cannot do that. We're not equipped to do that. And so to me, it was sinful for a public official, an elected official, to advise people to do something that's the opposite of what Jesus tells people to do. To me, he's got to bear his own cross for that. And God's going to take care of that. I can't deal with that. But no, I'm not going to try to evaluate these people or whatever. That's between them and God.
Well, now the amendment's been approved. The ordinance has been approved by the neighborhood committee. Ferraro said it's going to go to the council. Where do we go from here?
Well, I'm going to monitor it like I've been monitoring it, and I will go down and I will articulate my position against it. And I'm going to get on the horn and let everybody know that it's going to be an issue. And when it comes up, I'm going to invite people to come. If they don't come, fine, I will be there. I've made a commitment to God to help these people because they are voiceless, period, point blank. So I help them as much as I possibly can. And I've been defending helpless, homeless, poor, and needy people just about all of my life, and officially since 1986 when I became an attorney. So that's something that I know how to do. I love to do it, and I'm good at it, and I'm on it.
This is a passion.
Oh, definitely. It's a mission. No doubt about it. Don't get paid a dime by man, but I feel good about what I do because I know it's the right thing to do. And I told him when he first, I'm upfront with it. I mean, I sent this guy an email and said, look, this is not going to happen. I'm going to challenge you all the way on this. I sent them an email last week saying, y'all need to trash this bill. I think I might have sent it Thursday or Friday. Look, y'all just need to drop this thing, you know? And here's the hypocrisy of it. The city had a critical quality of life issues committee that decided that money should be given to help homeless people. So on the one hand, you have councilmen who want to help homeless people. On the other hand, you have another set of councilmen who are effectively going to try to hurt these people. So until some constructive plans are put in place and sufficient amounts of funds are put in place, some of these people are going to be getting arrested until other laws and bills are passed so funding can be put in place to help. And that's just a disjointed political system right here in Jacksonville.
Well, I have one more interval, which is I'm going to put myself in the frame, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right.
How you feeling so far?
All is well.
Good.
No complaints.
Ready? Let's move this camera back here. All right. Putting myself in the frame. So that way I'll show the viewers I'm out here. I'm out here. I really am out here in these streets. I'm trying to put my ears to the streets. All right, here we go. Roll.